We are live. Awesome. Okay, welcome guys to tonight's edition. Let me just share it right here. Yo, Dixon, today to your first. Wow, how did that happen? Dixon, is it by notification also? Okay, welcome guys. Tonight we have hey Jim, what's up? Tonight we have I say an unplanned one. It should have been on since, but it didn't come on. But today we brought it here. We'll be speaking with Timothy of Team1000Words. If you've heard of Team1000Words, he's one half of Team1000Words. So hey, Mr. Tim, hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Tim, I'm coming, eh? I am coming. I'll send you your link. I'm trying to push it in the various groups before we kick off. So give me just a few minutes. Yes. Okay, I think we are good to go. Yes. Oh, he mentored you. Okay, all right. Then I think today, team, we have a lot of your students in here. All right, so team, please use the StreamYard link to join. Balfour, how are you doing? Milka, I don't mind if it's just the two of us talking. Team, Atisco, what's up? Team, why do you want to be just the two of us? David Mensah, welcome. So team, please use the StreamYard link I just posted to come in, yeah? So that we can see your face. And do grant your camera and your microphone access. Guys, how is my video looking today? Is it still cinematic? T-Flex, am I still cinematic? Or it still looks like candlelight? Hey, Tim is here already. Where? Am I still cinematic? Or it even doesn't? Hey, this afro. I thought by now you are picking up the afro. Is here already. Where? Am I still cinematic? Or it even doesn't? Hey, this afro. I thought by now you are picking up the afro. Okay, Tim, can you hear me? Am I still cinematic?
Yeah.
Okay, so one thing you have to do for me, kindly mute the YouTube video.
Yeah, I've muted it.
Awesome. Then we are good. You know that thing. You know that. Charlie, you remind me of my Afro days.
Ha 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 ha. Don't worry, you can always come back. It just takes a few months.
Yeah, Charlie, T-Flex, finally I got hold of Tim. Charlie, Tim is the busiest man in Accra. Oko Vanderpool they come.
Hey, what do you mean? Yeah, I'm very easy to reach if you come to my house.
Oh, Tim, you wanted me to come to your house. I can still find my way there, but I don't like when people just budge on me like that. Like I'll be there or there, Charlie. Are they your house? I'll tell you I'm not home. Even when I'm home. Oh, I just let out my secret.
No worries, man.
Yeah, so Tim, we've been trying. Charlie, I like your light setup.
Oh, really?
Yeah, am I the
Should
only
I
one
show
who
you how
always
I do
seems
it?
to have? Yes, show us your setup.
Okay, let me see if I can twist my laptop around. Hold on a second.
Okay.
So, okay, no, actually, I don't even have to twist. In fact, I'm not even using my laptop, so why should I twist? Hold on a second. Let
You're
me
using your
pick the
webcam?
camera. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, I actually
I
have
see. That's it.
a light
That's the
here,
light.
and then another light for fill at the back, and then a small softbox at the front. So I can look and see what I'm doing. So I'm
Wow.
actually using my camera. So I use
Okay.
the Canon EOS web utility, and I just hook up my normal camera to my computer so that
Okay.
I
So
have a very interesting experience.
for this reason, I'm going to, and as I wait for to get a Sony A6, any of the A6000, I'm going to get a Canon 600D. I'm sure that can also do the job.
Oh yeah. I mean, even
Yes,
for if you want to
because
do a
it
lot of
has the
streaming and
tilt
stuff,
screen, right?
even the M50, the Canon M50, it's pretty cheap. It's
I beg,
about, I
the
think, four
M50
hundred
is
and fifty
about
dollars.
4,000 something. It's about
Oh
4,000
wow, it's
something here.
$450.
But when they come here, it's like 4,500.
It balloons.
Yeah, it's about 4,500. So for now, I'll just try and get a Canon 600D because I know that can also do the job. Me has one and he's been using it. So that
Oh, okay.
because now I'm using a webcam and it doesn't give me that chance to have, to zoom in. It's always wide and I have to always. Today I tried a new setup. I'm close to my curtain in my studio, and yes. Now it looks like you have a spotlight behind you or something. I like this. I like this kind of.
Oh no,
Yeah,
it's
Evans,
just the light.
big boy said you.
Ha ha ha. So
He's using three lights. Evans, he's using three
it's
lights,
only
too,
two.
and
It's
I'm
only two.
using
It's
just
only two. It's
one.
only two.
So the 120 cm and then the one for feel.
So that one, I think it's a 90 cm, like a 90 cm, and then one which is bouncing on the roof. So
Oh, okay. So is it an SL60?
yes, an SL60W, two of them. They are very cheap and
Wow.
they do nice light. So this is what I use for like when I'm doing interviews and stuff like that. And since they are lying
Okay.
around, I mean, for things like this, I always just pick it up.
Yes,
But
I've been wanting to buy one, but there's none in the country so far.
oh, sir, don't worry. I have somebody who can
Yes.
order it for you.
Oh, okay. So after we'll talk about that because the money is ready, but I don't because the one that can bring it is in the ending of next month.
Oh, okay. Anyway, you are
All right.
looking
So
taller
after
than me in the
I'll
live stream. Why are you looking
okay.
taller
Let
than
me
me?
go down. Let me go
In
down.
fact, let me rather twist my. I don't like education.
Okay, so
Or am I feeling
Evans is also Evans' light setup made me decide to up my game like that because I'm just using a Viltrox LED panel in a 90, no, this is an 80 cm umbrella softbox boomed somewhere here, and I don't know why my light is not as sweet as yours. Maybe because of the webcam. So I'll try and get the Canon as I wait for the 600, the A6000 to come. You can never go wrong with the SL60. Low cost but good quality light. Yes, that's true. Because Evans also uses the same thing but with the 90, the 120 cm, and
the
he showed
120?
us his
Oh.
light setup. Yes, and it was so. In fact, he made me throw away my. I was using this overhead lights and that kind. But now I use
It makes a difference. It makes a difference.
yeah,
I
it makes a
prefer
whole
the
lot.
90 when I'm using just for like headshots and stuff. But yeah,
Okay.
the 120 would be very nice and creamy.
Oh, okay. All right. I have the 120 and I have the 90 also. So once I get the light, then my videos are about to get lit. My tutorials and all that. Yeah, man. That it makes me miss my glasses. Maybe I should go in and pick it up. But does my video look a bit okay? I know it's a bit dark, or is it okay?
Oh, don't worry. It's cool. It's cool.
Okay, but I'm putting it alongside. I even feel shy.
Oh, you should feel shy. You should feel shy.
You this my or too mean. You don't. You just can't make me feel good for a second, huh? Okay, all right. So welcome to tonight.
Okay.
Welcome to tonight's edition. You know, we've been trying to get a hold of you. You see, over here, David Mensah T-Flex. He says, finally, you got Tim. Because it's been, you know, people have been requesting, they want to see Tim over here and all that. And I told them they should relax. You and Flow Shop, you are two people that my guys want to see over here. Flow Shop has been quite difficult getting him on here. But finally, we have you here. So let's talk. Unfortunately, we can't talk about the team as we wanted to, because it's just one part here, and you know, maybe it might not be right just talking to one part when the other part is not on. So guys, we will get the two of them together, if not physically, just like how Tim is here. We'll have Ocho also on. Yeah, there will be three of us having that discussion. But for now, we are going to focus on Tim, and then photography in Ghana. Wait, your name is Timothy Tim, and your company is Team1000Words. So when you say team, people will think TEM, like that's your name.
Yeah, please, you know, some people.
Tell us, what's your name?
Well, so hey, I have many names, but I'll just give you three. Or Timothy William Adair. So that's what I was born with. I have a few extra ones, but besides that, that's what I usually use. A lot of time on social media, you see that I'll use my middle name, which is William. Either one goes. When you have plenty names, you might as well use them.
Like me, I have plenty names, like my given name, and then my school name, and then my social media name. Like, so when you mention a particular name, I can tell where you know me from. Yes. So it's been a while. We've been doing this for some time now. We've actually built like a family. There are certain people here who are like constant. You know, every time we go on, whether we send the link to the various WhatsApp groups or not, they are here. So it's like a family. And we've been discussing a lot. Guys, forgive me if I'm not looking straight into the camera, because my screen is somewhere here and the camera is here. So most of the time I look on here to read your comments and all that. So forgive me if once in a while it appears like I'm clicking, but I'm not. My eyes are just down here. Yeah, so we've been doing this for some time now. We were doing live discussions. We pick a topic and then discuss about photography, of course. Then it got to a point we decided, okay, enough of that. People want to know the people behind. Okay, me is here. Awesome. Me, I will come by your 600D. This is the only time I want a kind of, yes, because Nikon doesn't have a web utility where you can do what.
Oh, really? Nikon doesn't have a web utility? Oh, wow.
It's okay. Thank you. Oh no, it's okay. You and me, you guys. I know you guys will laugh at me for that, but that's the fact. Nikon doesn't have anything. That's the only thing I jealous about Canon. You guys, because I've done the research. There's nothing like that can give you the live view like Canon does. So yes, then we decided to move from just discussion to behind the brand, so that people get to. They've been seeing names like, you know, you see Ghananie. You know, Ghananie is a brand, but you don't know who is behind Ghananie or the people behind Ghananie. So we were bringing people. Then we brought the likes of Ben Bond, Chocolate. Who else? A couple of other guys. We've been trying to get a hold of some of the big boys, but they are busy. Like how Tim has been busy all this while. So okay, Fuji also had, but Fuji, we don't like Fuji. We want Fuji will be quite somehow expensive. Yeah. So today we have Tim here. We are going to discuss some general things in terms of photography. Now, Tim, I understand you've mentored a lot of these guys in the industry.
Hey,
tell us how did you start? Yes, because there is one here who says you mentored him. Let me show you. Dixon, he's here. He's here. This is it. You see, I'm not lying. Dixon said it. See? And also, I interviewed Stella Exorate, and that
Oh,
interview
okay.
is there. I've not released it yet, but he mentioned everything is there. And Nanaresh
Hey,
also,
really?
it was Nanaresh who told me that you Stella learned from you, and like Stella, it was even with Team 1000. I never knew. Like, when I started, Stella was on his own, and Stella has been there for close to 10 years. And if you mentored Stella, which means you were there before 10 years and all that. So tell us, how did the journey start? How long have you been a photographer and all that?
Oh, well, I think it started when I was hmm, maybe I think when I was around 10 years old or so. That
Wow.
time I had a film camera, but not any special camera though. Just a normal film camera, the one with the films that you can take out and so on. And then now and then you'd be taking pictures and go around. And so I used to go out with my dad now and then when he goes for functions and stuff, then I'll take a few pictures. And so I got a few very interesting pictures. But I mean, it wasn't anything good. And then
Mm,
when I was in SS as well, I got one of those Sony CyberShot cameras. I don't know if you remember those cameras, which were
I
they were
remember those.
round at one end and square at the other. And when you turn it on,
Mm-hmm.
then the lens just comes out long. Gee. And so I had one of those, and I had some other camera that I used to use for video, a Vivitar camera. Right now, nobody even knows Vivitar anymore. It was a very cheap
Mm.
kind of video camera, but I used to take pictures of so many things. And like when I was in school, me and my friends, when I was at church, I used to take pictures of like our camp meetings and stuff. And so I really liked like just taking pictures in general, but not in any kind of professional capacity, just taking pictures. And then I think there was one day that I was then doing my national service, and somebody came into our office and stole my whole bag with my two cameras inside and my laptop and everything. And so I kind of
Wow.
stopped taking pictures for a little while. And then around 2010, or actually it was like 2009 ending to 2010, my brother-in-law is actually a photographer as well. And so I went like to visit him and my sister, and we were just hanging out. And then he had an old camera that he had probably been using for like 6 or 7 years. And I was like, oh, I mean, my cameras were stolen some time back, so let me buy yours. So he gave it to me at almost like a nothing price. I mean, after all, he's my brother. And
Wow.
the lens on it was a Canon 350D. I actually still have it, and it was silver.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was silver, a silver Canon 350D. And at that time, the LCD was tiny. And when I say tiny, the LCD was tiny. And then you know how the professional cameras have the top LCD screen on top of the camera. This one
Yeah.
actually had enough space for that top LCD screen to be on top of the rear screen of the camera. So everything was on the back. So it
Wow.
was actually very interesting. And then the lens was so bad. It was a Canon 28 to 80, but it never took a single sharp picture. But it was the only wide angle lens that I had. And then I had the 50 millimeter, the Nifty 50. And so I started taking pictures with that. And, it was very amazing because, I mean, from the Sony CyberShot camera that I had to the 350D, it was like, wow, it was like night and day. I was like, so I can take a picture for it to look like this. And I think at one point, let me see who there are a few people who really got me interested in photography for me to decide that I'll buy like that kind of camera for my brother and try and start taking pictures. And one of them was
Mm.
Rodney Kwaku. So Rodney shot my cousin's wedding, and
Okay.
we had the exclusive session somewhere around getting close to Trade Fair, that area. And there's some foresty area on the left before you get to Trade Fair, just by the side of the road.
From
So at those times,
from which side?
like if you're going from 37 to, yeah, so from 37, before you
Trade
get to
fair.
Bema Camp, there used to be a
Okay.
foresty area on the left. Right now, I don't think it exists anymore. But there used to be just like an open
Is it
area there. That was this was like
where they used to have that unique some event center used to be there?
Unique Flora is further ahead at Trade Fair. This was just by the side of the road. There
No,
used to
not
be
even
just a
unique
random
floor.
forest.
There was an event center. There was an event center on the left there where the overhead is now, the new interchange.
Ah, yes. Somewhere in that area. And so we went
Yeah.
there, and the exclusive session was so interesting, and it kind of made me feel like, oh, this is so great. And before that, my one of my sisters got married in Australia, and I went for the wedding, and their exclusive session, I was also part of it. And you know, all of these things felt so very interesting. And I was like, oh, photography, wedding photography and stuff is really cool. So when I started, I was like, oh, let me take some few pictures. I wasn't really planning on going professional, but I was taking pictures at some people's, like my friend's wedding and my cousin's wedding and so on. And then I wanted to buy something else. And then I realized that, wow, lenses are very expensive. And I wanted to buy a new camera. That time, the 60D had come out. And I was like, oh man, I've been using the 350D for so long. I want to get like a better camera. I want to get the 60D and be able to do video, because you know the 350D couldn't even do video. Like
Oh,
until
okay.
I think was it the 50D, or no, it was the 60D that started video in that line, I think. And so I was like, oh, let me get a 60D. And I had to scrounge up all the money together, and my dad gave me some extra money and so on. And so I got a 60D, and I was like, you know what, I can't be spending all of this money on a camera and not make anything. So let me try and, like, you know, charge a bit for a few events. And so, I mean, that in a nutshell, that's how it started. Like I'd always liked taking photos. I had experienced wedding photographers taking pictures and stuff, and it was very interesting. And then I kind of stumbled into it almost by accident, but it was a very nice accident.
Okay. So how was it like moving from just taking pictures of, family and friends and other people to commercializing it? How was the move like? Was it easy for you? Did people understand you, or you had to struggle like some are struggling today?
I think it was relatively easy for me because it was not something that I was doing full time initially. Like at that time, I had finished my national service, I was working somewhere. And so it was something that I was doing in addition to like the job I had at that time. And I started very small. So, was one of my friend's parents was retiring, and he was having a birthday party for him, a retirement party. And I was like, oh, let me shoot small. And then I charged them almost. And I was charging very little back then. I mean, it was not, I was kind of doing it more for the interest. I didn't really have to make a living out of it.
Okay.
You know, when you don't have to make a living out of it when you're starting, it makes life easier, because if that's everything and you don't shoot and you're hungry, oh man. So for the people who are starting out from day one, saying that this is my profession, like they are really doing a good job, because it's not easy. Because it took me like maybe a year or two of shooting small events and so on before I was like, okay, I can actually do this. And then at that time, I had known Pocho already for quite a while, and I was helping him out on jobs, and he too was helping me out on jobs. And we're like, you know what? Why don't we just, since we're helping each other out so much? At that time, we were working with Enam and Caleb, so Gray Shatter and Black Shatter now, if people know them. And so,
Gray Shatter and Black Shatter.
you know, let's all get together, and then we created Team 1000Words, which was essentially a play on the word, a picture is worth 1,000 words, quite simply. And like we are a group of people who make that happen. And so that's how we kind of transitioned. And at the beginning, it was not that easy. Like at my home, initially, my dad was always like, "Oh, you really like taking pictures, but every day you're going out to take pictures. You're going out to take pictures. You're going out to take pictures." And it was not like he was against it, but it was more like at that time he just didn't understand what like photography was in terms of a career, because around 2010, photography wasn't as or quote unquote mainstream or as popular as it is now. And so he just couldn't see it. And he was like, you're spending so much time taking pictures. But of course, anytime I need help, then he'd always help me out and so on. I mean, now he sees it like, oh, yeah, this is a really viable thing that you guys are doing. But originally, it wasn't all that simple. But I think over time, you naturally grow as long as you keep on doing whatever you're doing and shooting and doing what you like. And as long as you enjoy it, it'll keep you going because it's not always that easy. And if you don't like what you're doing, you're going to really suffer for it. So, hey, why don't I have some of that water? Why are you drinking all the water without?
It's water. It's pure. It's water. Water. It's
Are you
not
sure?
juice.
Are you sure?
Somebody would think it's apoteshi that are frozen. Like, oh, it's water. See the molecule. It's water. Okay, so Tim, we know you're a Canon shooter. What's
Very
your
much.
gear setup? Like your current gear setup.
Currently, I use a 5D Mark IV and an EOS R. So, like right now, I'm using the EOS R for this video. But those are the two cameras I use. I use a 70-200, a 16-35. Those are my two zoom lenses. And
So
then
you see this is an unfair fight. It's an unfair fight. You're using your EOS R for this video. I'm using my standard webcam.
As they say, you don't bring knives to a
unfair. You see? So it shouldn't even have been a battle from the beginning.
All of this was made possible through the hard work of Canon, you know.
Oh, so you had to bring Canon in. Okay, all right. So
it was just because they have that webcam.
Now we got it. Yes, we understand. You're a Canon shooter. Like you love Canon. Yes, we get it. Now, are you doing photography as a full-time business?
So at various times in my life, it has been different. So I think for the first, I don't know, first six years or so, it was part-time. And after that, it became full-time for a period. And actually, just since last year, it has become cool-time, if I can put it like that. So it's still a full-time job, but then there are
cool-time.
Yeah. So I can't say any particular thing.
That's in COLD.
No, cool. Like together, CO. Like cooperate. So it's like it's a cool-time job. So
okay.
So I still do it like a full-time shooter. So, but I have another thing that I also do as well.
Okay. That's cool. That's cool. Somebody is asking. Evans is asking if you're a Canon ambassador, but I know you are not.
I'm not even close to being a Canon ambassador. Actually, there's a very simple reason why I use Canon, and the reason why I use Canon is that my brother-in-law was using Canon. Simple enough. The first camera I bought was a Canon, and then I bought Canon lenses, and then I bought a replacement camera that could use the same lenses and flashes that I had, and so I'm stuck with Canon. For me to change to another brand means that I have to change my entire ecosystem, which just won't work. I have lenses, I have flashes, I have everything that works with my Canon system. If I say that today I want to switch to Sony, I have to change my lenses, and it's just too much of a hassle. So I'm Canon by default.
Okay. Julian is asking if you still lecture.
Oh, okay. So no, I don't. I stopped lecturing a couple years ago, and yeah, I just felt that photography was more interesting than lecturing. So, and I think if you pursue your photography career quite well, you could see that it could be quite lucrative, I guess, if you can put it like that. You have the ability to make a good living from photography. So if you spend your time on it, it will not be wasted.
Mm. Okay, so I believe as an old Ghan, you've noticed with interest, the current scope of photography in Ghana in particular. Now, what do you have to say about what you're seeing so far on the scene?
Um, well, first of all, I like what I'm seeing. I think that photography as an industry is relatively young in Ghana compared to other industries. And so having more people involved in the photography industry, I think is good for the industry as a whole. Because I remember when, like 10 years ago, when you tell somebody that they should pay X amount of money for pictures, they'll be like, what you charge this much money? And they just didn't understand because they were like, all the uncle photos, they take maybe 50 Ghana and then they'll come and take your pictures and they'll print like 10 of them for you there on the spot. And you are trying to say something different. And I think there were a lot of people who started off when very, very, very few people were doing this. I would say Rodney Kwaku, Sefa and Cancer, Emmanuel Bobby, Stephen Eduse, Steve Ababio, Kweku David. I mean, these are all people who were full-time photographers when so few people knew what photography was. And like I had the opportunity to learn from some of them and to work with some of them. So for example, I did a lot of work with Stephen
Mm,
Eduse, and his sense of business was very interesting. And as we've gotten to today, 2020, there's a whole lot of people who are in the industry. And I think it's good because it brings a certain amount of awareness. But I also feel that um, I just want everybody to be able to have fun with photography. And if it's your profession, to make money from photography. Because if it is your profession and you're not making money, then you're in trouble because it's not sustainable. And eventually you will drop out of the system because you weren't able to have a sustainable business. And so sometimes when I see some of the
mm.
things online, and these days I hardly go on social media. I think the last time I posted on Instagram was like 2 years ago, and so on. But I just hope that, yeah, I just hope that people who are in it professionally are actually considering it a business and not just somewhere where they just post pictures for people to like and say, hey, that's great. So yeah. Hey, I can see that Julian dropped an interesting quote. Yeah, when I was lecturing at Pentecost University,
Yes,
I
let
did
me bring
have a
it back.
lot of photography workshops, and so I guess that's where I met some of the guys. And it's nice to know that my interest also sparked their interest as well. So that was cool.
Okay, so Esinam says she met you once at Steve's place, and she was, you looked familiar. She was wondering. Then when you mentioned, she just knew, yeah, it's you.
Ah, yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Tim, I believe you've noticed that majority of the current crop of photographers, rely heavily on social media. What's your take on that? Do you think the social media should, a photographer should concentrate more on social media for marketing purposes and all that? Do you think that should be the case?
Yes and no. So let me start with yes. Yes, because social media is free. And when you're
Mm,
starting off, you don't have access to a lot of money. And so you need to make use of every avenue that you can possibly get to put yourself out there. And so since social media is free, it's almost a crime not to use it. So you have to use social media. And even if you can't do it yourself, like me, you can let somebody else who is better at those things do it for you. So like a friend or something, they can be posting things on your behalf. Because if it was left to me, I don't even want to check what my Instagram looks like these days, because it's completely empty. So yes, they should use social media, but we have to realize that the world is so much bigger than social media. Like, it's so much bigger. And if you think that you're going to be able to use social media and achieve everything, not in Ghana. Maybe in a country where the majority of people are online, but in Ghana, it's the minority of people who are connected and online. And so the whole physicality of marketing, you need to do it. And you can't afford things like billboards. Make I can't afford a billboard. I can't afford TV adverts and all of those things. Hey, Charlie, billboards are expensive. Oh. You pay like 30,000 CDs and all those things for a billboard. What? Don't worry. When I arrive, you see my billboard. But like literally
Yeah,
going to
I'll take a
businesses.
small portion of it for myself.
No problem, no problem. I'll make space for you. But like physically going to businesses and so on. Hey, I see Pocho is inside there. Michael Dakwa. And so physically going to businesses, talking to people, using like the connections that you have, like your church and your school, all those things, you have to do those, because I feel like a lot of those are more meaningful. Because sometimes social media, you just see people be liking, and nobody's calling, and you're hungry.
And
And
swiping.
on social media, you're competing with everybody. Everybody who has a camera is on social media. And so you are competing for eyes with everybody. But not everybody is going to people's offices. Not everybody is trying to market themselves offline. And that's where I think the actual money can be made, by going into offices, going into communities, like trying to find the jobs physically and not just online. A few people will make it purely online, and especially if you started early, like we were lucky. I mean, when we started off, nobody really cared about Instagram, but Facebook was big, and a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
were like hiring us through Facebook and so on. But now the effect for us, the effect of social media has really dwindled, because you get to a point that social media alone will not really be able to sustain you. And so we'll look at that. We'll look at that, because I mean, I think we need to
Mm.
consider running a business, and very few people will run a business completely online when it's a physical business. And so you have to consider those things.
Okay. Now, in terms of portfolio, um, most people, even models, when you ask them, okay, can I see your work or can I see your pictures? First place they direct you to is their Instagram account. And most photographers have their portfolio as Instagram. So when you ask them, can I, let's say somebody wants me to recommend a photographer, can I see your work? First link they give you is my IG and all that. Now, you ask, okay, before we go there, what kind of photography do you do? Have you specialized or are you just a commercial photographer?
Uh, when I started off at the beginning, I guess I was more specialized than I am now. When I started off, I was like 95% um, weddings and events.
Hmm.
But as time went on, I found other areas which were also very interesting. And when I
Wedding and
started,
event.
I did zero video. So like zero, zero, zero. Like I never did anything video. And so right now, I think I have become more diverse than I was when I started off. And I think one of my favorite areas is actually architecture. So architectural photography
Okay.
and so on. I think it's it gives you an opportunity to express yourself in a very different way, and you don't actually have to deal with human beings, unless for the sake of maybe the people who are going to pay you. But I mean, it allows you to be creative in a very different way than just with people. So I think I'm general commercial. As long as I can do it, I'll shoot it. I mean, who am I to be picky?
Okay. All right. So as a commercial photographer, I understand, some clients wouldn't even want you to post their work on your social media, or even some don't even want it included in your portfolio and all that. Now, but let's focus on generally what most people are doing. That's events and weddings. Now, would you advise, or what would you advise an event or wedding photographer to do? Someone who occasionally does portraits, studio portraits, or those things as well. Would you advise, having Instagram as their portfolio, or they should have a personal website, or both?
For everybody, I would say you should have a personal website. With a
Okay.
personal website, you can control how your work is viewed. And on a personal website, you are not competing. So, for example, if I post something on Instagram and somebody says, "Oh, go and search for A, B, and C on Instagram," when they open Instagram, they will see other people's pictures before searching for you. And within the same app, they can look at other people's stuff. And so you don't have their attention on Instagram. Somebody can send them a message, a new status will pop up, and then they'll just move away. On your website,
Hmm.
even if they're on your website for 10 seconds, those 10 seconds is all about you. And so you have the opportunity to make an impact that you cannot make somewhere else. Now, in the event space, more than some of the other areas, social media is very useful because a lot of people go to events, and events are very social. And so when you post a lot of
Yeah.
images of events, people see themselves and so on, and it generates a lot of interest. But let's say like a building, I doubt that the building is going to go to Instagram and look at, oh, I look very nice on this side. And so
That's true.
social media is not so helpful in some areas as it is. I think for weddings and events, social media is like really great, really, really great. But
Hmm.
you shouldn't limit yourself to social media. Like, for example, for Team 1000 Words, and even Pocho could tell you, um, in our contracts, anybody can decide that, oh, they don't want to have up their pictures posted. And we're like, oh, that's fine. It doesn't really change anything for us because we are doing this for our customers. And so if you don't want your pictures on social media, that's great. All you have to do is like inform us so that we know, or else it may be added to the pool of stuff that goes up. So we do give our clients that option. And for the vast majority
Hmm.
of our work, it just never gets to Instagram or Facebook and all those things. The most diverse work that we have is actually on our website, and even on portfolios online which are not connected to our website. So like when we're going for a job and somebody says, "Oh, have you done architecture work?" We can send them like 20 links to things which are not even on our website. And so having a portfolio which is ready for you to use is, I think, more important than social media. Even though I think social media is extremely important, especially for
Okay.
weddings and events.
Okay. Tim, let's say, I'm a web programmer. That's how I started as a web programmer. Then I went to network engineering and all that. I wrote my CCNA and all those things. Now, I know how expensive it is to get a fully functional website. Now, some will be like, okay, I'm just starting, and I'm like or two in. I'm not making enough to be able to pay for yearly hosting, domain name, paying somebody about 600 to develop, let's say a 5-page website for me, which has all these fluid things, both responsive, mobile, anything like that. Now, what form of portfolio, or how would you advise such a person to get a portfolio apart from using social media? Like, is there any other cheap way of, let's say, if I say cheap, not cheap as in that kind, but is there any other way to get a portfolio as the person ways to make money to get a website?
Yes. So if you are broke, you have to go for free. But free doesn't mean that it's cheap. You understand? Like if you want it to be free, you're going to have to do the work yourself. And if you're going to do the work yourself, you are going to need some level of knowledge, depending on what you want to do. Now, there are a lot of, I see Pocho has talked about Behance. I was just about to talk about that. There are a lot of portfolio sites like Behance, 500px, and so on, even Flickr before it died. And I think that those are nice places to start, but they also have the problem of being available to everybody, and your ability to customize it is less. So I think it is a better place for your portfolio than social media. But I think the next step would be
Okay.
something like free WordPress hosting, like those blogs, something.wordpress.com. Because there you can build an entire fully functional website, right? Fully functional website.
Yeah.
But you just need more technical know-how. But these days, there are so many templates that you could use. And there's a really nice YouTube video which will show you how to create a WordPress website from scratch in 1.5 hours, which was awesome. In fact, when I saw that tutorial, it was just crazy. And yes, like what Evans is saying, like Wave, Squarespace, but not all of them are free though. Some you have to pay for, or some will allow you to have your own site with maybe their name at the end. So like maybe something.
A subdomain.
And I think that is the most ideal, something that you can build to some level yourself and customize to how you want and display your things in an interesting way just for you, and not sharing it with everybody else on social media.
Okay. All right. So guys, there you have it. Michael said Behance. Tim mentioned Behance, and Evans is also mentioning Behance. So you guys should make use of it. For those of us who can't afford a website at this moment, as I said, I'm a web programmer, but my website has been under construction for the past 3 years. I don't get a time to, and the way I want it, I am not even able to explain it to someone to even build it for me just the way I want it. So I'm still working on it, one guy. But then, as it said, okay, I won't be lazy. So Squarespace, Wix, they are all there. I know Wix, they've been doing lots of adverts, and then there's 22 slides also, which I think is $20 a month, which is about is it $600 cedis or something a year. So if you can do that, fine, no problem. But then Behance is there, so you can start from there. Start moving from Instagram. As Tim said, if your event or wedding, Instagram, yeah, that's where the brides will go and then see stuff. But then when you move into commercial, like corporate jobs and stuff, most corporate people don't even want to see their works on social media. So where you can use what is Behance, as all these pros are talking about. So guys, please use this. Queen, is that I should clap for myself for having a website and construction. Don't worry, by end of next month, I'll move from the construction site. I beg. Tim, you're so not cool. Tim, I thought you were. Tim, which house were you in Motown?
Hey, I was in Jibego. You know they see the blue.
Hey, Jibeg. Wow. Yeah. Okay, I was in Cadbury House, so I didn't know you were even in Motown. Wisdom just alerted. I was in the same house with Wisdom. Momento. Oh, come on! Why are you doing that? We are the chocolate boys.
Oh, sir. But the chocolate is not the kind of chocolate that many people are thinking of. So it's not a good chocolate.
Jibeg and Cadbury, we were just neighbors.
Oh
We
yeah, you
still
guys
are
are just
neighbors. I
behind
don't
us.
know if they built another house between us.
Hey, but when did you finish
Okay, so
2000?
Julian was saying, well, I finished 2002. I'm your junior, so I beg.
Oh, how?
I finished 2002. By then, I'm sure you had finished Sky and left.
Oh no, 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 no. We were all there together. I was with Wisdom and Co.
Ah, you also finished 2002?
Can you imagine? Me, I don't go like that too.
For real?
I think I'm an old man. What do you mean?
Oh, wow.
I'm a young guy.
Oh,
Wisdom is
I
saying that
see.
you don't
Okay, then
remember
I'm
me
sure either
before.
you were.
I was very skinny. Right now, life has beaten me small.
All right. Because I'm like, come on. If you were my mate, I'm sure I would have. Wait. So, Tim, are you on the Accra 2002 WhatsApp group? No.
I don't think so. But I was in the same class
Oh,
with
don't
this
worry.
guy.
I'll let it.
He's going for political. John Dumelo.
You were in the same class with John?
Yeah, I was in science too.
Oh, wow. I
Uh,
see. Oh, okay, okay. You were on the same science block, and I never knew. Okay. Well, as Wisdom is saying, well, you changed a lot. That's why I don't remember. Because I was in science 4.
okay. The faraway people. Maybe the
Yeah, I was
geography.
one. Okay, so Julian is asked. Yeah, geography with science with geography, no biology. I fear blood. Now, Julian is saying that you had a photography aspect of business aspect of photography with Bob Pixel. I think he said a year ago or 2 years ago. He missed it. So, do you intend on having another of such class?
We've been talking with Amal that we'll be having another one for a while. I'm sure we'll definitely do one after this whole COVID thing is kind of sorted out a bit. But maybe we'll be able to do something online. Maybe since you are the king of live streaming, maybe we can put something together for people online.
Okay, all right. So, guys, this is an unannounced announcement that we'll be having that class online one of these days. So we'll just prepare for it and then fix it. These days, because of online connectivity, everything is possible. So what Tim said, we will push it up and then make sure we have it. So Julian, we will have that done online. Yeah. So don't worry. Okay, guys, you've heard it. Try and get Behance and then work on your website. Make sure Catalyst has said that. We had a debate here about which one should photographer prioritize, social media or get your personal website. And most of the guys said personal website, which is understandable. So guys, make sure you get your personal website and all that. Now, team, there is another debate. Most people say what? Hey, that's junior team. Afro. I see. It's in the family.
More.
Okay, so most people say what gear doesn't matter in the sense that you don't need high-end gear to be able to create. What I believe most people mean when they say that is that what it's mostly when you can't afford a high-end gear that you be like, "Oh, even with this small one I have, I'm able to produce." But then in the long run, when you're able to afford or get to use a bigger gear or a much more advanced gear, you realize that it made my work easier, or it made things so simpler for me. What do you have to say about that statement that gear doesn't matter?
Honestly, I think that statement "gear doesn't matter" is completely crazy. Because try and shoot a wedding without a camera, and you'll see that the gear matters. But I mean, but but on a more serious note, I think it's all about balance, right? It's the photographer and the photographer's equipment work together to produce a result. You cannot necessarily say that the photographer is more important than the camera and the camera is more important than the photographer. because there are some things that somebody with a great camera just can't do because they don't have enough skill. And there are some people who have so much skill and have such a bad camera that there are things that they just can't do. Don't you agree? So in that case, you see that it's the photographer is a photographer because they are a human being and they have their equipment together. But that said, in certain areas, the equipment doesn't really matter as much. So for example, if you are shooting in a studio, right, the need for super high-end cameras and lenses is slightly reduced. Oh, I really enjoying seeing hold on.
True.
Your need for super high equipment. Hey, wow.
Okay, you have to increase the volume.
Can you imagine? Hey, please allow me to talk small. So your need for super high equipment is reduced because let's say in your studio you may always be shooting at f5.6 or f8, so you don't need an f2.8
I shoot
lens.
f8 minimum.
Yeah, you don't need an f2.8 lens. What are you using an f2.8 lens for when you are never shooting at f2.8? But imagine if you are shooting live concerts at night and all you have is f5.6 lenses and a crop sensor camera. Charlie, all your pictures are going to be noisy. No matter how good your skill is and how great your composition is, your lens and your camera will reduce your final output. And so it's not that gear doesn't matter. Gear goes with associated work. And so when you want to be able to excel in certain fields, you need certain equipment and you cannot dodge it. So for example, if you want to do sports photography and the only lens you have is 18-55, you can't run onto the soccer pitch and be taking pictures. When the people get to the other side of the pitch,
unless you're a player.
Yes, unless you're a player, and then you don't have time to hold camera. When the players are playing on the other side of the pitch to score a goal and you can't take a picture, what are you gonna do? you can't.
True.
So gear matters, but gear is not everything. It is both the photographer and the equipment. And I like what Pocho's comment was. Gear matters, you're just broke.
Exactly. Because today, the reason why I even brought this today is I was on Twitter earlier this morning, and one guy was like, "Today I've used a Mark IV, and I can attest that gear really matters." You get it? So I understand it too. I started my journey with the D3200, which it was for a friend, and it had fallen, so it was only manual mode that was working. For flash, everything, it was just manual. So that's how I learned my photography. So I was like, I got a Yongnuo 50mm. I sold my PlayStation 3 and bought a Yongnuo 50mm 1.8. And I was enjoying, I was like, so this thing can give me sweet pictures like this. And people, were talking about that time it was the 7D, the Mark II, Mark IIIs that were on. And I was like, and later I did some research and realized I wanted to go into wedding photography. So the research was that for weddings, you need a full frame camera with sharper lenses and all that. So I was like, okay, I did some research, then I realized, the thing. So my friend brought his D600. So I put that same Yongnuo 50mm on his. I took a picture of the street light. Charlie, by just looking into the viewfinder, I realized the gear really matters. Like, yes, from where I was to the street light, it was just the same distance the camera captured. But when I put it on mine, I had to go back before I could capture that same one. Right there, I told him, look, I want to buy a full frame.
Your circumstances dictate what you need. Now, I think in 2020, as compared to, let's say, 2010, I would say that there's less of a difference between crop sensor cameras and full frame cameras. But the fact of the matter is, the larger the sensor you have, the better the camera will be at gathering light in low light situations. or other things being. So if you take a Canon camera and you compare a Canon crop sensor camera to a Canon full frame camera, you're going to have less noisy images in the full frame camera. You're going to have better low light performance. Of course, across brands, you may see differences. Like for example, Fujifilm, they do really good crop sensor cameras, like really, really, really good crop sensor cameras. But even they don't think that crop sensor cameras are the only cameras they should make. And they jumped full frame and they went into medium format because there are differences that you get in each system. Crop sensor cameras, because of the crop, I think they are really good for sports as well, because you have that extra crop with that extra distance that you wouldn't get in the full frame. When you're doing something like architecture, when you're using a crop sensor camera, you're going to be very disadvantaged because when you get into a tight space,
you're not
you're not going to be able to fill the frame with the lens you have. And if every single shot you do will be a panorama, and then you spend 2 or 3 times the amount of time stitching them together to get the same effect as you could with the full frame. So I think gear really matters, but gear goes hand in hand with the situation, and then your skill itself needs to be built up over time for you to be able to get better and better as well, so that you can actually make full use of the gear that you have. Because there's no point in having a great camera without the skills to be able to use it. An example is one of the reasons why I like the Mark IV and the EOS R is the video autofocus. So the fact that I can do this and the camera will focus on my face, and I can move back and the camera focuses on my face. When I was using a 6D and I was doing videos, I had to do all that focus manually. And Charlie, that's it made my life so difficult.
Yeah, I noticed you never got out of focus.
Yeah. Now with these new cameras, everything is just so easy. Yes, I know. Thank you. And so yeah, it's I think there's a big difference with the kind of gear you use depending on the situation that you find yourself
in. Okay. There's one other question now. Let's say there's somebody, a beginner, at the entry level, who has all the available resources in terms of the money no be problem. You want to learn photography, you want to start photography. Now, majority of people I have spoken to will say what? Let the person get a smaller camera and then use it to learn before buying something heavier. Now, the person says, money no be problem. I can buy any combination you want. Let's say you team, the person wants you to teach him photography. Would you also go along the people saying, buy something small, use it to learn before you buy something big? Or would you let the person buy let's say now the EOS R or the Mark IV, and then you use that to teach? Now, the analogy I always use is, if somebody wants to learn how to drive and the person has money to buy a Lamborghini, will I say go and buy a Tico? So I use that Tico to teach you before, when you're okay to learn to drive, then you go get a Lamborghini? Or will I say buy the Lamborghini, let me use the Lamborghini to teach you how to drive, so that once you know how to drive, you just move it like that? What will you think do?
I would say buy the Lamborghini.
We are, in fact, we are crass, so we think alike.
So this is what I think. In photography, buy whatever you can reasonably afford. So if you have the money, I would say start off with a full frame camera and start off with a 24 to 70 f2.8 and a 70 to 200 2.8 and a good flash, and then bam, you're done. That's it.
So guys, you heard it from the boss. He says if you can afford a Lamborghini, go for it. Don't say gear doesn't matter. So you want to start small.
When there's money in your pocket, will you buy KFC or you choose Gary? Hey,
somebody, Sola, Stella, see, if you can, Stella, I'm dropping the link. If you can, please come on. Okay, join us if you can, Stella. I know you're also busy, just like Tim, but if you can, just join us. I want to, do something small. So if you can, just a team. I told you that I had an interview with Stella, and later Resh made me understand like Stella was with you guys, which I never knew. I think he said before he was is it Blue Lens or something? He had a lens
Blue
name. Blue Shutter. So Stella was Blue Shutter. I never knew about that. Okay, so somebody is also bringing an analogy. He says what? Car analogy. Use a manual transmission car to learn how to drive. You will never find yourself in a Kofi. Okay, I think that's also another part. Or use manual. But you see, for now, what we are discussing is, people are like, where you don't know how to drive, you will crash the Lamborghini. I'm like, no, if you have a good teacher around, and the thing is, it's the Lamborghini you can afford. Once you're buying a Lamborghini to learn how to drive, it means even if you crash it, you can fix it or you can buy another one. Team, is it not true?
Oh yeah, if you have Lamborghini money, there everything is cool. But actually, looking at what he said, what I would actually suggest is that if somebody wanted to learn and they were not sure about what they were doing, you can go to somebody who has this equipment and start learning with it before you even get to the point of buying your own. But that said, when you have your own camera, you will be able to learn so much faster than always borrowing somebody else's camera. But I think that if you have the money, buy what you can afford. Buy what you can afford, and you don't need that camera.
I think this
results, but it would help.
It's the same message I've been preaching. I'm like, Charlie, if you can afford it. The thing is, before you even decide, okay, I want you team to teach me. Already, team might have inspired you in a way. So you will surely find out, like maybe you want to be like team directly, So seeing what team shoots with and all that, you decide that, okay, yes, this is what team has, and you saved for that. So saying I want a Mark IV straight, somebody will be like, you're just starting. Buy a T5 because I also started with a T5. So you to start with T5 and build up like that and all that. I had a question. Salah, are you saying Pocho is here with us or something?
Yes, he's there, Michael.
Like that. Oh, Michael is Pocho. Oh, okay. I see. Okay. I didn't know he had my name also. Charlie, name mate, welcome. Okay, so Pocho is saying Blue Shutter, but we couldn't afford him. I see. Okay, so let unofficially, would Pocho want to join us so that it will be three of us on here? Pocho, let's know if I should. Okay, so Pocho, team says we should add you. So that's the StreamYard link. Kindly click on it. You will add your camera and then your mic. You can use your phone, anything that you want to use. So, Michael, just join us if you can.
You have to make sure that you're looking
yes, so yeah, this yes, because team has set the standard. Team has really said that. And Ivan, if you're also behind your setup, please just for 1 minute, and just join us for 1 minute. Let's see your light setup also. Ivan, if you can also join us for just 1 minute, let's see just join using the link. Let's see your setup. Yes, Pocho, we all want to see. We are in the same group, but I don't think I've ever met. And Pocho, one thing is, I don't know if you know Fifi Bedu, the iSpace guy. Like, he's like a brother to me. We've known each other for a very long time now. And he's always been mentioning Pocho, like every time. He's been mentioning, and most people also mention, I'm like, who is this Pocho guy that like I've never met? And I'm sure I've met you, but I didn't know you by name or something. So yes, if possible, please join us. We have the same government name. Yes, so that makes us one. Now T-Flex is behind the T-Flex is giving fans that we should add Pocho. Okay, I've sent the link, so I've sent the link to Pocho. And then Evans, you too, if you can join us to just share your, like, I know most people want to go into live streaming also. This COVID-19 thing has really opened people's eyes to a whole lot of things. Okay, so Pocho is here. All right, so Pocho is here also.
Charlie.
Oh, Pocho to Pocho boy, I see. Charlie, big man, welcome.
You see,
okay, so guys, together we have team 1000 words. Now I had wanted to do this from the beginning, but it looked almost impossible. But miraculously, I have the whole team here. So what should have been like just a space of photography in Ghana? Now we are going to go a bit more into behind the brand. So our team gave us a brief overview, just a brief overview of how he started, which involved Team 1000 words. So now as Pocho is here, can you guys just give us, how did this whole Team 1000 start? Now, these days, people are doing photography more like a competition instead of a collaboration. So the last time Chocolate was on, and we spoke about how we are going to, how are we trying to get people to work as a team, like more of collaboration instead of seeing your competitors. Yes, because we are all doing the same thing, so automatically we are competitive. But there is healthy competition. No, not competitive. Rivals. We are automatically rivals because we are doing the same thing. But then, whether to be competitors or to be collaborators, it's the thing that let's say I know team and I have been booked for a gig. A client comes that they want to book the same date, and I know team can do the same thing. But because I see him as a competitor, I just turn the client away saying, "Oh, I'm booked." It ends there. Instead of me recommending team, I just turn the clients away. They should go find their own person. Now, it's been going on. This is something that goes on in our industry a lot. Now, how did you guys come together as Team 1000 Words?
Charlie, Tim, I be this one day backyard.
Who?
You make us start. So
you started before me, so you first start.
So you see, the thing you see, when I started, Charlie, the business was growing. We were getting gigs, we were getting jobs. I was shooting alone, right? And at some point in time, it doesn't make sense to shoot alone. So that's when I got somebody to assist me, the Grey Shutter, and I'm Kunucho, he's somewhere in the system. But even with him, right, the opportunities were still there and growing. And then at one wedding, we were shooting for a mutual friend. I met Tim. And, we were watching each other's style. We kind of vibed, and it was great. We essentially saw that we have the same perspectives when it comes to shooting weddings. We tended to appreciate the same things about equipment, and we're both looking to explore even more. So one day we just sat down and said that, but wait a minute. So if we come together and ditch our individual brands and start a new company, like, go be, maybe they say, no, that's it, they go be like that. So because when we came together, then we had, all of a sudden, we had way more equipment between us, and, which meant that we could cover more events and comprehensively cover it. And I remember that at the time we came together, that wasn't the norm in the system. So typically, people will say that, hey, as for 10,000 words, then when they show up at your wedding, it's a whole army. It's like a battalion, because Charlie,
show up with 4 people back then,
Charlie backup vocalists. So everything is covered. Yeah. So we then grew to appreciate the power of collaboration. And a lot of people came along. I mean, some like Selah and all that, they came and then they went off to start their own thing. But we intended for our space to be a place where people will come and grow. And if they still hang out with us, the growth that they have grown is a value to us. And even if they move, we have a relationship with them. So I can walk into Celeste's studio today and shoot, and he won't collect me money. If he collects me money, they can't get to go pull out.
You will go Benin.
You go Benin. Benin says no go help out. That's why for travel, we go make you go Asia
India.
somewhere. India go help out because Benin there will be too close. But yeah, like so about building relationships and creating a space again for growth. And ultimately, we saw that became our value proposition, that it was a squad of very engaged, very driven, passionate people, and people liked our style. People liked, like, they couldn't identify who was who. They just knew that Charlie squad. And it was also helpful then because nobody, like when clients are asking, they are not like, oh, we are looking for, you want this particular person, because there was no face to the brand. It was just, Team1000Words, you know. So you show up and they're now asking, sometimes people meet Tim and like, are you Pocho? Tim will say, yes, I'm Pocho. Me too, I go to where they say, are you Tim? Yes, I am Tim, you know.
Oh, I went the whole day. I was Pocho the whole day.
yeah. I mean, Charlie.
You know, funny enough, the two of us, if I cut my hair, we kind of look alike.
Yeah. So we kind of got away with it.
People have mistaken us, even on the phone. People have mixed us up before. But you see, there's some things that Pocho left out from his story. When we met at the mutual friend's wedding, now, when Pocho was shooting, and I also shoot, and then I'll look at his camera and I'll say, hey, what's that? I say, hey, why is your picture so much like I said, no, this one there, if I don't figure out what this guy is doing, go shame me too much. So I have to work with him.
You see? So guys, you see what happened? You see how they met? It wasn't like one was eyeballing the other one, or one was trying to, shoulder the other one. You see, one was doing something, the other realized that, what this guy is doing, there is something that I can learn. Then this guy was also thinking that, we have something in common, so why don't we come together? Instead of rather saying, this person is shooting, let me avoid him, let me do everything to discredit him. They rather came together. And now look at it. You see, you guys already know the story. Now, you guys, what advice will you give to us, the youngsters here, about teaming up? I know, when it comes to groups or forming a team, there's a whole lot of challenges and all, which we'll talk about after. But what's your advice to people watching you who, your strength is maybe correct lighting, maybe outdoor, you're very good. But when you enter a church or when you enter an enclosed area, Charlie, how to fix your flash and all that, you're not good at it. But you have a friend who also has, nice pictures indoor. What's your advice to people if people want to come together and then form a squad or a group? How should they go about it? What's your advice?
Okay, well, I'll start and Tim will add, but I feel like first of all, you need to figure out the money. I think things get funny when the money is not figured out. Charlie, bottom line. Okay. I mean, boys must eat, and so when someone or some people feel another party is cheating, most of the time that's where the breakup starts. But ultimately, also it's about a shared journey. Like you need to be looking in the same direction, or else it won't work. So sometimes what I see with partnerships is one person has an idea and they monopolize the concept of where the team is going. So it's always their vision and their idea, and everybody else must either join or, for lack of a better word, get off. Like it's either you are following my vision, because after all, I was the one who started it and I called you to join. So follow my vision or
exactly.
And it makes it difficult. So other people then just come on board, and if you don't take care, self-interest is what is driving them. So for as long as they feel like they are getting value for being with you, they will stay because they don't feel a part of that vision that you have. So the day that you cease to serve the interest that they have, they just move and then go to something else. And in all these scenarios, it's also fine. It's also fine that you can keep a partnership for some goal, and then at some point in time, it no longer serves the goal, so you move on. But these are also discussions and conversations that have to be had early days when you need to. It's like a relationship, like if the more you don't talk about certain things, the more those things will become an issue at very critical point in your growth. And especially in those times when challenges come, when there's less business, or like clients are giving you pressure or something, like, Charlie, you go do some gig where you are happy, where now they try find whose fault it is, and all these things. You need to talk to them, because somebody go feel say, but you where you go shoot that thing where you make it happen, and so you way they kill the brand, me they work so hard to put the brand out there, then they kill the brand. But that is also things that you need to figure out, so that you are not always, self-interest is not driving you to protect yourself, and then at the expense of the bigger thing that you're trying to build. But ultimately, think about this as a relationship, which means that you have to have difficult conversations, which means that you have to make room for forgiveness amongst yourself, for growth, for learning opportunities, for honest feedback and all that. So those are some of the things that I'll put out there. But you have to also So Tim.
Yeah. When the great Pocho has spoken, what am I to say?
But I think, you say Nakaino.
Charlie. But I think partnerships in Ghana is a general issue. It's not just photography alone. Like I've realized that people find it difficult working together. And there's a very simple reason. It's because people are looking for their personal short-term gain, right? You ask yourself, how much can you do on your own? You cannot do everything. And so if you understand that you can't do everything on your own, it is possible to work with somebody else and have a business which grows and everybody is succeeding together. And there are certain things that help, like in 10,000 words, we have a very laid down set of how things work, how we share jobs, how we are paid, and it's transparent for everybody. And so because of that, nobody can say that, hey, you are doing something behind my back, or this is what's happening. Hey, no, we are all in it together, and we all want the prosperity of everybody. And so because of that, we are all able to gain. Because in that sense, imagine if you are working on your own and you're sick for 1 month and you can't shoot. What are you going to do with your jobs? Right? And the opportunities in Ghana are plenty. Really, it's not that the jobs will finish. Maybe when 100 people are fighting for one job is annoying, but that's not the case. Do you know how many people get married every single day? Even in COVID, they are married.
It's true. So it's true.
Opportunity for everybody, and you don't need to see everybody as your competitor, even though in a sense they are. Like for example, every shoot that you are doing with your I Shoot Raw t-shirt is a shoot that I'm not doing. But it doesn't mean that when you are shooting and making money, I cannot also do the same thing and also succeed. There are 20, well, I don't know, maybe even 30 million Ghanaians in this country. There's a lot of jobs to go around. It's all about how you go and look for your own business. And yeah, so it's very possible to work together with somebody and have a good business life. We have been working together for a long time. There are days that we insult each other, afterwards we'll continue. That's all.
Yeah, yes.
So
So we'll talk about the challenges and all that. But just for some few minutes, I requested that Evans joins us. So Evans is
hey,
a
what's
content
up?
creator from Canada, and he has an amazing setup, his live setup and his studio setup and all that. Actually, he said this whole thing has been set up under a staircase. He said even a second person cannot enter there with him. So Evans, you have the floor. Kindly take us through your setup. Amaze us, wow us more.
All right. So my setup here it's very simple. Like you said, it's just in my home, in my basement.
Evans, I think we can barely hear you.
Can you hear me better now? Is that better?
Hey, Evans' setup is very serious. So Mike and everything. Hey, Evans,
Yeah, no, for real.
I'll turn off my camera.
Team,
Let me focus myself.
you guys are on the same level. Team, you guys are on the same level.
Yeah, so me, I'm using my laptop mic.
Right now, I'm competing with Toto.
Oh, Tale, you see,
I'm
Okay, so
competing for
Evans,
last place.
I think Evans is closing.
Is my audio better?
Yeah,
It's still very low.
I think it's a bit
it's
far
better.
away.
Okay, what
But
about now?
it's better.
Better. I can hear.
Okay, perfect.
Okay,
As I was
okay.
saying, me is it's just a simple setup. But like you were discussing before, right? I believe in
Yeah,
investing in the best that you can afford, right? Because I've learned it the hard way. When you buy gear in small businesses, oh, I can afford this. Let me settle for that. You end up wasting a lot more money in the long run. When I first started shooting, I bought a Canon. Was it a Rebel T5? Used it for a couple of years. Uh, very soon, I grew out of it. Right, got to the point where you realize that it's not serving your needs anymore. You have to look at something else. So I went up, and instead of going for full frame, I went for another APS-C. I went for another Canon a 7D Mark II.
So,
It was okay, but after a while, after I got serious with weddings and stuff, I realized I needed to move. Right, that's when I switched all over from at that point and went back to Sony, right, with the A7 III and a couple of stuff. But if you keep buying gear like that and you don't buy the best that you can afford one time, you waste a lot more money because when it comes back to selling, let's say your A7 III, the 7D Mark II, you're not gonna get the same price you pay for it because camera prices drop like crazy, right? And then you waste a lot more money that way. But currently, if I can show you guys, this is what I have set up here. So right here, I have an A7 III with the Tamron 17 to 28 lens, which I'm just reviewing right now. Same lens I'm using right here on this A6400 that is showing this angle. Then I have this light here. This is same thing, the Godos XL60W. I have that for basically that's the key light in a 120 centimeter softbox. The camera, the A7 III, as well as this one here, runs into an A10 Mini Pro, right? So I have three cameras that I use. One of them, if you can see, it's up there. That I use sometimes for overhead shots. So that's when I want to have something top down angle. That's what I use for a top down angle. But all those coming out of the A10 feeds into um, a recorder right here. This is the Atomos Ninja 5. This basically records everything. So when I'm doing YouTube videos and stuff like that, I record as I cut the scenes from that to that and everything. Everything gets recorded at the same time onto the recorder with an SSD in the back. So the recorder has an SSD plug in that records to that. So when I finish, I just
Wow.
take out that SSD, plug it into my computer, and I'm ready to edit. Um, that's just a basic setup, but I also have the, if you look in this shot here, you see there's a little bit of a red pop in the background. That's another XL60 in the back there. Um, and then I have this light pointing in the up there. Let me switch to this so you can see this light up there. It's not on right now, but that's basically serves as a rim light for me. But as you
Wow.
can see, all of this is set up underneath my staircase. So this is like a storage room, and I have just used acoustic panels to kind of, decorate a little bit. So when I'm on and I'm at this angle, you can't see the background with all the steps and stuff showing, right? It's just a way of me making it look a little more nicer in the background, but
Wow.
it's just like that. How about
Wow.
So,
Hey,
Tim,
Ivan.
Tim, you see,
Wow.
your classmate that too. Tim, your classmate.
Hey, please, oh, I beg. If you put me in the same
Me
room
and
with this,
Pocho there.
finish.
I beg,
What's
I
that?
beg, I beg, it's okay. Guy,
Why,
it's okay.
Evans? Are you doing a TV production under your staircase there? Hey.
no? So I got all this equipment mainly for, I do wedding videos and wedding photos. So for me, if I'm gonna do the videos, I gotta do it right. So when I do wedding videos, I shoot two or three angles, right?
Yeah,
So I have the cameras and stuff that I use for my wedding videos. But when I'm home and I need to do my YouTube streams and stuff, I use that to do the YouTube streams as well. So that's why I have the setup here. There's also times where I get clients that have, let's say, they have um they have families outside of Canada and they want them to see the weddings live, right? So I built that also into my business model so that I can offer you live streaming services for your family members who are outside the country. And that's where the A10 mini comes in, right? So I can have all my three angles connected to the A10 mini whilst recording straight to the A10 mini, but also giving them the live feed to stream out at the same time for people to join.
no, but that's an
So,
impressive
Tim,
setup.
you see,
That's really good. I've been doing some work at church for these live services, and I can tell you that my church doesn't have um, it doesn't have your setup. So in fact,
Refer your church to me. Oh. I do
I,
live stream setups for churches, you know.
no,
So
no, this one, this one, I go make one of my people can watch this video again. I will cut this section and send to them.
yeah, so one thing
I
I
go,
use as well is churches and organizations that want to get into streaming, right? So um a couple of me and a friend of mine as well, we basically help churches.
oh, okay.
And maybe one of these days I'll share a link to one of my church stream that you guys can take a look. And well, for my church setup, this A10 mini is small. This is, I don't compare. They use the we use it's still made by the same company called Black Magic, but
Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
4K professional grade switcher, which takes in better cameras with what we call the SDI outputs, right? Because the thing is, HDMI traditionally is not meant to run for longer runs. So if you're running a cable that is more than 15 feet or even 25 at most, but if you're running a chest setup where the cameras are far in the back in the control booth, let's say the controller is in the far in the control booth and you want to run the cameras to the floor, ideally you want to run something called an SDI cable, right? Those can run for 300 meters, 300 feet away, um, without any degradation in signal. So they use professional switchers that has more expensive, but will serve you longer purpose for churches and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So there you have it, guys. Tim, have you been humbled?
Oh, completely. I mean, if I go and pick out my little 2-camera switcher, I'll have to throw it away.
Which switcher is that?
So we have the Black Magic, the web presenter.
Ah, okay, perfect. But that's not a bad presenter though. That's good.
Oh yeah. I mean, it does the job. I mean, it can take 2 cameras. It has an SDI input as well, and so on. But Charlie, right now, after seeing your setup, I'm going to light a small bonfire and put it on, and then light.
But the thing is that right now at this stage, for maybe a couple of 6 months ago, since the A10 Mini was released, it has become. It doesn't make sense anymore buying any other capture cards as much.
Oh yeah, it doesn't. Especially with the A10 Mini Pro.
Yeah. Because the prices of the A10 Minis, both the Minis and the Pro. So for me, this one is the Mini, not the Pro. The reason why I buy the Mini is because the Pro, the extra features from the Pro, I don't really need because I already have the external recorder.
Yeah.
Right. So if you don't have the recording, then the Pro makes sense because you have like USB out recording. You can record. I don't need that USB out because I already own a more expensive recorder in the feature, and I didn't want to spend that extra on the Pro for features that I wouldn't use. But with the price of the Pro and the Mini, it does not make sense anymore, even for churches to buy something like the web presenter, because the web presenter is more expensive but doesn't have all the features that you can get.
Oh yeah, the new A10 Minis are crazy.
For almost everybody, a lot of people, churches who wants to get into multi-cam streaming, look at the Mini.
True.
I'm totally lost.
No, don't worry. It's okay. We'll explain it.
So wait, all 3 of you went to Motown?
No. This guy down here, he didn't go to Motown.
Oh, you Butcher Boy. I don't like Butcher Boys though.
You do, eh?
I'm your Augusta boy.
You're from where?
Augusta.
A fisherman.
Augusta and
fisherman.
Agree, you know?
Fisherman. When you are.
Wait, hold on. I see.
You see,
I see. Okay.
The position of the stream shows the position of the schools in this matter, You have
you see
the most talent here, at the top. And then we have down there. And down there.
Yeah.
Before
okay, so guys, we wanted to before we start battling. In fact, one of the lives will bring only different schools so that they will battle. But tonight, I wanted you guys to be inspired by the various. So far, right now, as it is, my 2 brothers who are supposed to give me vim, my cheerleaders, are rather giving me thumbs down. Seun and Catalyst. They are talking about my ring. This is my curtains. I don't know why I even decided to come here today. I should have been using my seamless backdrop, but I decided to just come here and see. Now I just availed myself to ridicule by these 2 guys, and tomorrow it will be a different story. I'm still experimenting which side of my studio to use, because setting up. Especially when you have to set up, then when you're done, you break it, do shoot, and then set it. I'm not like it's a team has a dedicated place. Evans has a dedicated place. Even Pocho has a dedicated place. I mean, he has a nice scenery and all that. I'm the only one who can be ridiculed at this time, aside the perfect lighting by Team and Evans. Pocho, you and I are on the same level. Aside my wrinkled backdrop, we chop lights.
The thing is, I wasn't supposed to be on this call because I also have a setup. I actually have, I have an LED screen in front of me. I just haven't turned it on.
Hold on, hold on, Pocho,
Yeah.
hold it, don't fight. We will do this again next week. Next week Monday. I'm bringing Team 1000 Words again. So that we will all prepare. We will all prepare.
You should bring me once
if I
again.
chop last,
I also raise my game.
So, guys, next Monday, I'm bringing Team 1000. Monday, we are interviewing them as Team 1000 Words, not as individuals like today. So,
cool.
just book your day. Monday, 8 p.m. sharp. That time, nobody has an excuse. Hey, even me, I don't have an excuse. So, Evans, I hope you are for me. You're cheering me up because Catalyst and Seun, those two guys. Oh, awesome. I'm going to do Evans kind of setup.
You know, gradually you are
Awesome. So thanks very much, Evans. I'm sure you have some other things to take on. So thanks for taking us on a tour of your studio once again. Oh, awesome. Okay. Yeah. So Evans, thank you very much, and you can carry on.
Thank you, sir. Nice meeting you guys.
All right.
Have a nice night.
So, all right. Yeah, you too. Yeah. Okay, so let's go back to Pocho and Tim. Now, tell us. I'm sure, just like a relationship, you guys have had your fair share of fights and how do I put it? Unseen or unexpected events that it got to a point. I'm sure you guys were like, it was a mistake, coming together, or I want to leave. Then those things. I know it's not rosy for groups and all that. Tell us about some of the challenges you face, so that those of us who are thinking of grouping, or those who are already in and are thinking of just breaking away because of certain differences. What are some of the differences you face, and how did you resolve them?
We fight before.
I don't think so. I mean, we've been lucky, I guess.
Yeah. I have pet peeves about him, but I have learned to live with it because I know that this is Tim.
Hey, if you are coming to say that you have problems, let me out your problem to everybody in the whole world. Now, this is the problem that I have with Pocho. It's a very personal problem, close to my heart. This guy sweats on his nose. And you may think that it's a small problem until you realize that he's also left-eyed. He sweats on his nose and he's left-eyed, which means when he puts his eye on the camera, his nose is on the dial. The modal. So his sweat will enter the camera and spoil the camera.
Please. In our existence, I've only spoiled 2 cameras. 2 pairs. Only 2. Please.
I mean, honestly, it takes some time before the camera spoils, but it will eventually die.
But that one was a very painful thing because we had
the camera spoiler. Okay.
And we didn't even understand what was going on, cry.
Oh no, I didn't do. And then one day we did the math and saw that the sweat. So I had to stop shooting with 6Ds because that was and had to also train my right eye. That was very difficult. But now, the cameras that I'm using, I don't have that problem again. But we
don't have those problems again.
Yeah.
You were using your left eye. I'm now trying to see. So I've been using my right eye all this while.
Right now, I don't know. I think I've trained the right eye as well.
It's easier to shoot on your right eye because now the camera is off to the side. If our cameras were designed for people who are right-handed and right-eyed, so it's kind of unfair to people who are left-handed and left-eyed.
So is he left-handed?
For example, if you're shooting with your camera, are you left-handed?
Me, I was born left-handed and then I was converted.
So that's why you prefer using your left eye.
Naturally.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
Flex says you should use
Cameras are
Notepad.
yeah. So I destroyed a few cameras. Is that all right?
He said you should use
You
Notepad
use
so
those
that your
masks.
sweat will touch the camera.
Somebody told me that I would have found it out.
But yeah, I mean,
Okay,
on
yeah.
the
So
most like
tell us
so.
about your differences and how you overcame those things.
So I mean, for most part, what we tend to do is like, okay, this is a problem, let's resolve it. And I mean, that's how we look at things for the most part. This is a problem, let's resolve it. And sometimes you introduce other people into the conversation so that no one person is monopolizing the ideas that are needed to solve the problem. So we try to be as democratic as possible. We bring our assistants into the conversations if they need be and all that, and other people that we are working with. But ultimately, we try to not make it about persons. We make it about the issue, the problem. The person, if there's a person behind it, it's only just about how you reframe, so that now the person does not become the problem. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah. If it is something that needs to be done, that the person is not equipped to do it, can we get somebody else to do it? And move on. Charlie, let's not get emotionally wrong on some things. That's how you deal with real life. If you keep in mind that the relationship is important, there's always a way you find to resolve issues. But where you feel like, Charlie, this thing crashes, I guess they do cause Charlie. Yeah. But if what happened, I'll go bounce. Then you're not even committed to trying to solve the problem. So yeah, that's what I'll say. Yeah.
Okay. Tim.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think the most important thing when you're looking to enter a partnership is to look at the person's character, because somebody's character is very difficult to change, but almost everything else can be easily fixed. So if you have somebody who is willing to work things out and solve issues, and they have the right mindset, I mean, every problem can be solved. I mean, I must admit, I think I'm the more troublesome of the two of us, but Poto has been very accommodating with my issues. So I think, I think once you have put it in your head that, look, I'm going to make this work, you can think of it similar to maybe like your family members or a marriage, for example. If you decide that this work partnership, we are going to make it work, it will work because everybody has decided that it will work. So when there are issues, you fix the issue. And as Pocho was saying, that you look at the issue and not the person. Like just as an example, many times I am a very slow editor. And so maybe when I am pushing things out, and other times I'm super fast. It's very funny, but now, if I am slow and getting work out is taking a long time, then what do we do to make sure that work can be done on time if I can't? Hey, Kojo Edem, is that what you're saying? I look troublesome. It's a lie. It's a lie. It's just now and then. But yeah. So one of the things we look at is why don't we just get somebody else to edit it? So in that way, I can handle what I have on my plate and try and work that out. Of course, sometimes you always feel that if you shot something, then you know how you want it to be done, and so sometimes it's difficult to let those things go. But I think in the end of the day, if you're considering how the business is working, it's better for everybody.
Okay, all right. So there are some messages from viewers. Katari says, I admire these two guys. I've met them separately and have always been impressed. Thanks for all the knowledge. You know, Tim, you and I have a personal meeting that's supposed to come on, but it hasn't come on yet. You know, your spider is with me.
I know. I haven't forgotten.
Okay, awesome. So, and then Kofi Shamati says, I think aside character, compatibility is also extremely important. So, like characters can rock. So, like characters can rock, unlike characters can't rock. Oh, okay. Are you talking about rock and roll or something like that? So, I have more questions for you guys, but as I said, Monday, Monday we have a proper. This one was improper. Like it wasn't supposed to be. We were just supposed to have a team talk about like the current state of photography in Ghana. But then we were lucky to have Pocho around to, you know, when I was looking for a team, Pocho just slid into my PM and he sent me a number. Fortunately or unfortunately, Nanaresh also gave me that same number. I was like, no, I have Tim's number. We used to talk. Like, I remember there was a time I even called you. I was supposed to come to your one Wednesday for us. So I was like, how come all of a sudden I don't have Tim's number? Then I realized my 7 Plus got fault, so I had to get a new phone. And for some strange reason, most numbers were being saved. Like some numbers that I saved at a particular time didn't get registered. So Pocho sent the number. As soon as I dialed, it showed me what Nanaresh also said. So yes, I've been looking for it. I was actually looking for it. Nanaresh said, I sent him a message. It's been like 1 year now. It's still not being read. I was like, hey, then I'm dead.
I did not respond that message right now.
Yes, Nanaresh said he sent you a message like 1 year, you have not responded. So I was like, if he has not responded 1 year, then Charlie, it means. But I told him, oh, we spoke less than a year ago, like before this whole COVID thing. We spoke and we were supposed to even meet to do a live shoot at your end and all that. So yes, Monday we have a date with in 1,000 words. So we are going to get a flyer. I am sure there are a lot of people who want to, you know, ask you questions. They want to see you guys. I'm sure, you know, as Nanaresh said, they've been DMing you and trying to get in touch with you, but to no avail. So Monday, we'll give them the chance. Some might have personal questions for you. We don't, you know, encourage and we don't ask personal questions, you know. But if you yourself want to bring out any personal answers, we are open. Like Catalyst was saying, Pocho's wife is in the house. That's why his place is his setup is very neat. I did not say Catalyst was the one who said it. So yes, so guys, it's been wonderful, you know, stealing almost 2 hours of your evening. I know, Tim, your young soldier was there trying to tell you that is, you know, the time you're supposed to spend with us, you're online. Why? And you know, Pocho also, you know, it was very, very impromptu. But thanks very much for, you know, honoring this impromptu invitation. And even we were not even supposed to be live tonight. So ask him. I was like, we've cancelled that. You know, from the way Tim was talking, I could sense some disappointment in his. I was like, you know what? Let's do it. So if you realize today we came late, we came about 30 minutes late, you know. So yes, it wasn't supposed to be, but we made it possible. And see how lucky we were to have Pocho right there with us. So Monday, we'll be having Team 1,000 words, full session, full 2 hours with them. So guys, go and prepare. The questions here, we'll be asking you lots of questions. So go and prepare. And guys, if you have any questions for them, just DM me. If you don't have my WhatsApp number, just send me a message on Instagram, and and if you haven't subscribed, just subscribe and hit the bell so that when we go live, you will see it, so that we don't have to go and send things in groups and all that. So let me see if there's anything here. Okay, so Kodredem says you even defending it sounds troublesome. So Tim, they are all saying you are troublesome. And the disco boy, I don't know what vendetta he has with the Botre boy, but you know, he keeps picking on the Botre boy. I don't know why. He's like, do you have any personal problems with the Botre boy? And he's calling you guys old men photographers, like the photos.
Can you imagine?
Okay, so Catalyst says yes. Balfour says, thanks you guys for sharing your knowledge. So Balfour is based in Canada, and Catalyst says yes. So on Monday, Catalyst will be my co-host. So, and I'm sure once Catalyst is here, the question is here. It will flow like when the floodgates of Wager Dam are open.
I can imagine.
Okay. There is another message. Oh, Kofi Chairman, you don't want it to end, please. They are
Yeah, man.
husbands and
Hey,
fathers.
please, some of us have
They
to
have
go.
to go. Yeah, they have to go and take care of their family, and all that. So we'll leave them now, and then Monday they will start early, so that by 10 latest we are done. So guys, thank you very much for being part of Pocho, Charlie. You especially, like, I didn't even expect you to be here. I never expected you to be part of us, but Charlie,
my day has been long.
But exactly. Tim, you too. You just returned home and then you had to come live for us. So Charlie, thanks for the love and we really, really appreciate. So Monday we'll continue, guys. So you can now disappear. You're free to go. If you don't want to go to, you can stay.
Hey, I'm here.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. All right.
But next time, this your curtain there. Don't do your video by the curtain.
No. It was just an experiment. It was just an experiment.
Right.
Next time I'll use a backdrop.
Today I've been inspired to up my game. Share you with Monday.
Yeah.
I also do multi-cam.
Even so those days.
Hey.
Those days I was using my overhead light fell. I wasn't using a softbox. Then I decided to put my LED light inside a softbox.
That's good. That's
Monday,
good.
Hey, Sean, you too. Why? Why are you now? You move it from me to Sean be one troublesome guy. So, Jordan says no be you, Adam, Charlie. You say you will help me change my setup. Charlie, Adam. In fact, after this, we'll talk backstage. I need to set up like one station for my YouTube so that I don't have to. It's difficult if you have to be breaking your setup and moving it, Charlie. It's heartbreaking most of the time. So yeah, team Charlie, thank you for making time. You didn't even eat another. So thank you. Monday we have the full session here.
Oh yeah, Monday there. I will put Evans's tutorial to good use. What?
Hey, we are dead. We are dead.
I'll even do some catch lights behind my head and things. You must try small. Charlie, I'm out. I'll see you.
All right, Charlie. Thank you. Hey, Charlie, see the way he's even signing out. Hey, boss level. Hey, Charlie team, you guys will kill me. Okay, so guys, thank you very much for being part of this. It's been very, very insightful and all that. You guys always make it interesting to be here at the end of the day, sparing your 2 hours of the evening. You could have been watching Netflix or, doing stuff, but you made time, even though Manchester United is still behind Chelsea. It's like I said this just for you. The Anfield guys, they don't have any trouble. We don't have anything. So see, you will see me shy. Monday, you will see my setup. I have Evans behind me, so I'm not scared. He's not like you, Sean. He's not like you, Sean. That David Spencer, because I spoke about United, so you're there doing against. Yes, Timothy. Good night. Thank you very much. David Spencer and Charlie, I'm leaving, but United is still trailing behind. So okay, guys. So we'll be back here again tomorrow, hopefully. So good night, yeah. And those of you doing against, yes, Sean, we will get you. Sean, we will get you, okay? Those of you doing it again, I won't mind you. So, guys, thank you very much. The show is officially over. So, let me see. Let me see what's here. Okay. I'm still here. Charlie, good night. I forgot my camera was still on. Hey, Flex Benjamin. Sean will also be dissing me there. Okay, brothers, good night. And if there is any sister here, good night. We'll see you guys tomorrow.